All right, folks. Welcome here on a Wednesday night. It's the best time of year. We have the big college basketball tourney upon us, and here at College B-Ball Picks, we have all the picks to get you that money for this tourney. Let's check in with our pickers over on a Jimmy Mack. Jimmy Mack, how we doing?
What's going on, mid-major? Went 2 for 2 with the conference championship, so hoping to keep that hot streak going on into the tourney.
All right, yeah, some great blogs over there from Jimmy, some great picks in the conference tourney. Over on to Chili Davis. Chili Davis, we ready for the tourney? Big tourney?
Yep, coming off a 4-0 week from conference tournaments. Really excited for it and excited to win some money. Betting on every game we got.
All right, Chili Davis smiling, licking his chops, ready for this big tournament. Over to Cam DeHam. Cam DeHam, what's going down in Zona? Seems to be having some technical difficulties. Cam DeHam over on the D-Row then. D-Row, how are you doing?
Doing well. I love this time of year, and just looking to provide some, reasonable analysis for these games this week. Back to you, mid-major.
All right, that's what I like to hear. I'll try to get Cam DeHam back on board whenever he can get his internet going. But we'll start off over with Jimmy Mack with our opening tip, our first game to get you going with this big basketball tournament.
All right, opening tip, 8-9 matchup. Purdue, Cincinnati. Purdue -1.5. Cincinnati really struggles to score. They're a defensive team. Purdue can match their size down low. They have pretty good shooters, so I like Purdue -1.5. They are a 9 seed, not really an upset if they're favored, but Purdue -1.5.
All right, going with his Big Ten, back to what he knows over there, Jimmy Mack. On to Chili Davis. Chili Davis, what's your first pick for the tourney?
First pick is actually going to be the first game that's being played in the tourney. I'm going to take the Notre Dame Fighting Irish -11.5 against Northeastern. I'm a Boston boy, but there's quite a bit of Massachusetts being represented on this Notre Dame team. Somebody I really want to keep an eye on is Zach August. He's going to be a big man. He's going to dominate down low in the paint. For the Irish, watch Pat Connaughton, another Massachusetts man as well. Give me the Irish to roll.
All right, the luck of the Irish over there. And on to D-Row. D-Row, what's your first pick?
Opening round pick here. I like Arizona in a huge line, -23.5 versus Texas Southern. Obviously, a standard 2-15 matchup with a big line, and usually I stay away from big lines, but Arizona, they don't play down to their competition, and for those of you who don't know, I do have 2 siblings who graduated/attend University of Arizona, and I spoke to the younger one today, Morgan Rosen, and she assured me that Arizona will cruise in this game, looking at a 30-plus point win, so I feel very comfortable with Sean Miller's group in the opening round at -23.5. So Arizona -23.5 versus Texas Southern. Back to you, mid-major.
All right, a good pick there. D-Row getting some inside information with the connections to Zona. As for me, my first pick, I've been doing the Pac-12 all season. I'm going to stick with the Pac-12. And watching the Pac-12 let me know there's one team in this tournament that does not belong at all, and that is the UCLA Bruinses. Yes, folks, I don't know how they got in. Someone was drinking something, using something, but the Bruins, they had one quality win away from home against Stanford, who's not even in the tournament. They're playing the 6th seed, Southern Methodist SMU. As we all know, Larry Brown, great defenses with his teams. The only coach to be fired twice in both the NBA and the NCAA. That's true, folks. Good stat there. Take SMU -4 in the game tomorrow. And with that, we're still waiting on Cam, but back to Jimmy Mack. Jimmy Mack, what else do you got for picks for us tomorrow?
Second pick, we're going to the ACC this time. North Carolina -10.5 against Harvard. North Carolina, big bodies there. They're going to clean up on the glass pretty easily. Harvard's a very small team. I know the last 2 years they'd won the first round with big upsets, but this team seems a little different. They really shouldn't even be in there. Yale kind of choked and blew it, so Harvard, again, doesn't really belong to be in there. I like North Carolina. They kind of got hot with Notre Dame for a little bit until they blew it in the end, but that size is just going to be way too much for Amaker and Harvard. So UNC minus 10.5. And then the second pick, little surprise here, we got Buffalo plus 4.5 against West Virginia. Give me Bobby Hurley and those Fighting Bulls. They are going to be tenacious. They led Kentucky at Rupp when they played earlier in the year. West Virginia, Bob Huggins knows his team isn't very good. They play a very pressing style on defense to try and create turnovers because they don't execute very well in the half court, so they try and get all their points in transition. Buffalo, another team that plays an up-tempo offense, so they should be able to counter that and score easily. I could even see them winning the game, so plus 4.5 looks really good for Buffalo.
All right. Jimmy Mack predicting a much shorter trip to the NCAA tourney this year for Harvard and an upset over there with Buffalo. And surprise, surprise, we got a connection down in Arizona. Cam DeHam is back. Cam DeHam, do you got an opening tip for us?
Sorry about that, folks. I like to come in with a fiery entrance. Just surprising you, bro. My ringer was stuck on the dial-up internet. Opening pick, baby. You go Belmont plus 16.5 versus Virginia. Virginia has not been the same since Anderson went down with injury. Belmont is a patient offensive team. And I know Virginia likes to slow teams into the mud, but they're going to have a good time. And, well, maybe not good enough to win, but they will cover the plus 16.5, so go with Belmont. Back to you, Mid-Major Mike.
All right. Glad to see you could find a few more America Online CDs to put in the computer. A few more minutes. Back over to Chili Davis. Chili Davis, what other games you got for us?
First one I'm going to go with is Texas minus 1.5 against Butler. Really like this Texas team, very athletic, led by Isaiah Taylor, Miles Turner, Jonathan Holmes. I think they're going to just outplay, out-rebound, outscore, do whatever they have to do to beat Butler. Really looking forward to that game. I think Texas is going to roll. A lot of people kind of surprised them getting in, but really looking for them to make a little bit of a run. Next, going to stick to my home roots of the SEC. I'm going to take Arkansas minus 7.5 against Wofford. I think this is a pretty reasonable analysis, but Wofford isn't a very, very good team. A lot of people say they might be a sleeper, but I just don't see it. Very undersized. Look for Bobby Portis to just dominate the middle, dominate the defensive end. I think they're going to try to speed the game up, something that Wofford doesn't like to do. So give me the Razorback. Woo Pig Suey.
All right, some very good picks there from Chili Davis. You can tell he's matured a little bit. He's thrown away the sports wallpaper in favor of the Paisley in the background there. Good picks there, Chili. On over to D-Row. D-Row, what else games do we got?
All right, mid-major. Got a couple of 5.5-point spreads here for the middle rounds. I like Indiana plus 5.5 versus Wichita State. People are questioning whether Indiana should be in, kind of bubble-ish team, whatever. They made it. They're filled with three-point shooters, and people know what happens in March in the college basketball. Three-point shooters win you games. I like Indiana plus 5.5 versus Wichita State. I think they'll probably win the game. That's a rather easy pick. And the next game is Michigan State minus 5.5. One thing I've learned from my 22 years here on Earth is you don't bet against Tom Izzo in March. You just don't do it. So I like Michigan State minus 5.5. I see them making a strong run in this tournament, and they'll cruise past Georgia, no problem. Michigan State minus 5.5 versus Georgia. Indiana plus 5.5 versus Wichita State. Back to you, mid-major.
All right, the man of 5.5 over there, D-Row. Seems Cam DeHam has left us again for bigger and better things. As for me, my other picks, Strick's going to start off with two more mid-major picks for mid-major Mike. First, I got Northern Iowa Panthers. I had them. I was following them early on. I was already on the bandwagon. I was driving it. People jumped on later on. for both Northern Iowa and their big man, Seth Tuttle. He does a little bit of everything. They play great defense overall, and they're playing a horrible offensive team in Wyoming. Wyoming, I don't know if they're even going to be able to get over 40 points in this game with the defense Northern Iowa is playing. I look for Northern Iowa to cover their 5.5 spread pretty easily. They only need to really score 50 points to do that. In my second game, I got a big upset for you. Upset alert. We're taking the North Dakota State Bison going into Spokane and taking down Gonzaga. Now, when I say taking down, I mean covering the spread. Let's be honest. I may put $1 on the money line. Who knows? But the 18-point spread for the Bison is just too much. They have the Summit Player of the Year, Lawrence Alexander. He's going to keep them in the game against these Gonzaga Bulldogs. Gonzaga, yeah, they've been known to blow teams out, be merciless, but I think in this game, North Dakota State will keep it close. Maybe Gonzaga starts resting people at the end, but 18-point spread, they will cover it. And with that, we're on to our fan of the week, our second to last fan of the week, I should say, before we get to our next week's picks. This week we have Mark Baldwin, longtime fan of the show. Be sure to contact Cam DeHam wherever he is. You might have to use the postage mail. You might have to use a telegraph. Who knows? Contact Cam DeHam to get your prize. And with that, on to the easy money pick. The locks of the first round of the tourney here. Jimmy Mack, what's our easy money?
Easy money. We're kind of stealing one out of Cam DeHam's page here, but we're going Iowa State minus 13.5 against UAB. Iowa State, the self-proclaimed comeback kids. However, there's going to be no comeback needed in this one. UAB, not very good at all. Iowa State can put up points in a hurry. They are loaded with shooters. Their offense is amazing. Georgia's Niang, the pride of Methuen, Mass, is going to be spectacular tomorrow. He runs the team. He does it all. Monty Morris, great offense. Assist-to-turnover ratios off the charts. I just see them absolutely steamrolling tomorrow. The last year they won by 18 in the first round, so this one could be even bigger. Iowa State minus 13.5, easy money coverage right there.
All right, big pick for the Cyclones out of Iowa State. And over to Chili Davis. Chili Davis, what's our easy money pick?
Easy money pick of the week for the big dance is Maryland minus 4.5 against Valparaiso. Very small line, very surprised. I think Maryland put on a great show in the Big Ten tournament. I really like Des Wells, Melo Trimble. I also like the big guys of Evan Smoltris, Jake Lehman. Think they're going to do a great job. Think they're going to go on a deep run. Think they could challenge Kentucky somewhere in that region. So give me the Terrapins minus 4.5 against Valparaiso.
All right, a big pick there for the Terrapins. And he's back over to Cam DeHam. Cam DeHam, what other picks do we got?
Back again, folks. Sorry for the issues on this end. There was a storm today in Arizona. That must have done it. Congrats to Mark Baldwin for the fan of the week. This week's prize, Mark, send us your address to collegeballpicks@gmail.com. We've got a signed Harlem Globetrotters ball from back in 2000 all the way around, baby. So that's your prize. Give us your address, and we'll send it out once. You go Davidson plus 2.5 versus Iowa. Great guard play for Davidson. You go Louisville minus 8 versus UC Irvine. All they have is that 7'6" big guy. You go with Louisville. Love how they match up with Blackshear and Harrell. They'll take care of business. Easy money pick, folks. You go San Diego State minus 3 versus St. John's. St. John's, Noah Beck, folks. So, yes, you go with SDSU, a chip on their shoulder for losing their conference tournament. You go with SDSU minus 3 versus St. John's. Back to you, Mid-Major Mike.
All right, Cam DeHam, stay safe in that big storm out there in Arizona. On to D-Row. D-Row, what's our easy money?
Easy money pick of the week probably won't be a surprise to most. I was anxiously awaiting landing from Philly to Chicago so I could turn on my phone and see where and who the Eastern Washington Eagles will be playing. And I was thrilled. As everyone knows, Georgetown, when it comes to tournament time, has a tendency to lose those double-digit seeds, and the game will be played in Portland, which obviously is pretty much a home game for your Eastern Washington Eagles. Now for my pick. I love Eastern Washington plus 300 versus Georgetown. Plus 300? No. Yes, that's right, folks. Eastern Washington Eagles money line. This team is a team of destiny. Tyler Harvey is shooting lights out. This team shoots the three ball better than most teams in this country. And as most of you know, Georgetown, their defense against threes, 262 out of 351. That's right, 262 out of 351. Look for a ton of points from your Eastern Washington Eagles. And my easy money pick of the week, Eastern Washington money line.
All right, a very passionate pick there from D-Row. I do hope the Eastern Washington Eagles pull it out. I do not know what will happen otherwise to little D-Row's heart. As for me, I'm going back to the Pac-12 after going to the mid-major. We're looking at a game that originally started as a pick'em game, Oregon versus Oklahoma State. Since has gone up to Oregon -1. Again, Oklahoma State, they stumbled their way into the tournament. They lost 7 of their last 8 games. Just a horrible showing. You got to go with Oregon, however you say it out there, folks. You take the Ducks. You take the -1. You ride Joseph Young to the bank. And with that, folks, that's our show for the first round of the tourney. Be sure to check in with us next week when we got some Sweet 16 action for you. And happy picking tomorrow. Enjoy the tourney. Enjoy winning some money. Go Eagles.